friends of Riverbend United Church. This is yet another day our God has made, and we are gathered in spirit, if not in body, to rejoice and be glad in it. Thanks for tuning in this morning. You are most welcome, no matter what. We are an affirming congregation of the United Church of Canada, which means no matter what. We are also a treaty people, and we remember and honor those who have stewarded these lands long before we got here. May we honor them in our worship and living, working, and serving. This morning we have a couple of announcements. First, I want to say thank you to Dawn, Trin, and Joel Fleck, who have been painting above the stairwell at the church in the entryway. It's not an easy job, and we're grateful to both of them. And also want to say that this Wednesday night, you are welcome to join us at 7 p.m. for RUC Connects Outdoors reprise. We did this a few weeks ago and folks enjoyed it, so we'll do it again. We'll have a campfire in the parking lot, mosquito-free land, and we will provide pre-prepared safely s'more ingredients. If you'll just bring a roasting stick or two, we'll have a way to share them caringly with care. Christine Enns has an announcement for us today.
Good morning all, and greetings from our patio. My name is Christine Enns, and today I come to you as new chair of the Spiritual Formation Committee. So what does this team do? Well, we oversee all aspects of worship and Christian education, including youth and children's ministries at Riverbend United Church. Who's on this team? Well, of course, our fantastic minister, Valerie Oden, is joined by myself, as well as our former chair, Joan Little, longtime member Sharon Hoekstra, Peggy Robinson, Carolyn Miller, Jennifer Tupper, and our Christian Education Coordinator for Children, Crystal Manuel. So our church building has been very quiet since the pandemic, but you may not be aware that much work and business is happening behind the scenes. For example, earlier this week, our spiritual formation team had a Zoom meeting for a couple of hours. The power of the internet. We're really getting a lot of stuff done. A major topic of discussion was how should we proceed when we return to in-person worship in mid-September. We recognize that it's so important to share a great worship experience with those who prefer to remain in the safety of their homes. And Riverbend United Church is going to embrace live streaming the Sunday service for all to see in real time online. To do this, a small technical team is exploring how this will be accomplished. I wanted to take this opportunity to ask if there are any among us that have technical expertise in video recording or maybe live streaming, perhaps people that we are unaware of, and perhaps people who have, as of yet, gone undetected. If you are one of these folks, please inform Valerie or the office, and we will follow up with you. I hope you have all been well. I miss you all, and I wish you the best for the rest of the summer.
Thanks for that, Christine. We are beginning today a new series called In the Garden. This week and next week, I'll be touring the gardens of those who've volunteered to invite us in. So I'm thankful today to Joan Robinson and Tom and Sandy LaPointe for sharing their gardens with us, along with a welcome surprise appearance from Sharon Hoekstra. Behind me, I've been enjoying the new COVID landscaping project of my neighbors. So I am sharing that with you. Hope you enjoy it, as do I. Let's take a breath and begin our worship by singing Gather Us In with the Seversons.
Gather us in,
Good morning, friends. It's Wednesday morning and I'm out for an early morning walk. Such a gorgeous morning. The birds singing, the trees swaying gently in the breeze, the river lollygagging along, bringing waters from on high, the high country, bringing them down into the valleys. The earth is full of gifts for humanity in our spiritual journey. When you are in nature, do you feel a calm, a sense of rest inside and peace? Do the worries and the fears and the anxieties and the troubles sort of dissipate while you are enjoying the gifts of the earth? That's how it is for me. It calls me to rest within deeply. And I wonder if part of humanity's challenges in these generations might be because we are losing our touch into the earth and its touch directly into us. Our story this morning from the Bible comes from Genesis, the first book of the Bible. You've heard it before. It's the story of Adam and Eve in the garden. They are plopped into the garden upon creation and told that they can eat of any tree in the garden, the fruit of any tree in the garden, save one. The tree of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, they are not to eat of, says God in the story. Well, being told not to, with the innocence of children, they do exactly that. And suddenly they realize they are not naked. They recognize that they are exposed. They realize that they are naked, and they do everything to cover themselves. I think fig leaves seems the appropriate attire of the day. They cover their innocence, they cover their nakedness, they cover their vulnerability, because suddenly they start judging. This is good, this is not. That's good, that is not. In that advent of polarity and division and separation, humanity loses its innocence. It's a journey we all go through, coming in as innocent babes, and then choosing at some point unconsciously to separate from that innocence and protect me and mine as a toddler. We'll go into that more next week, but for today, in the beauty of this setting in the earth, I encourage you this week to find something in nature. Maybe it's a leaf, a flower, a walk, even looking at some pictures, whatever it is that calls you back to the fruits of the earth and the peace of that. This morning we're going to visit some of our church members' gardens and ask them, how does gardening feed their souls? How does being in nature or enjoying the fruits of the earth and the gifts of its seasons and its cycles, how does that feed your soul? Take a moment and listen to the sounds. I don't know if you can hear them, the birds, the river so gently flowing. Let's listen to some of our church members and tour their gardens. Hello friends, we are in the home of Joan Robinson in her backyard, and she's going to tell us about her love of gardening. What is it about gardening that feeds her soul? So this is Joan's beautiful garden. Clearly, she has spent many hours in it. We'll get a few closer shots, but first, Joan, we'd love to hear. Why do you garden? What is it about gardening that feeds your soul?
So my job by day is I'm a pediatrician and I specialize in infectious diseases, and certainly that job is full of all kinds of uncertainty, and you often come home at the end of the day wondering whether you made the right decision about various different cases. Whereas when you garden, it's like when you clean your house. It's very straightforward, and when you're done, you can look at it and you can tell whether you did a good job. And I really do like that, being able to pull out the weeds and make it all look better than it did when you got there quite quickly. And I think some people love to garden and others hate to garden. I think it really depends on how much tolerance you have for dirt under your fingernails. So I grew up on a farm, so I got quite used to that. And also whether you love the sun or you hate the sun. And also whether you enjoy manual labor or whether it makes you feel like a slave. And so those of you who hate gardening, I'm sure there are other things you enjoy doing that I would rather be dead than do.
Oh, that's beautiful, Joan. So I can understand that, the concrete results after a day of such difficult decisions that you have to make in medicine. So we will take a tour. Do you want to tell us about your cream can?
Sure, we'll go look at the cream can first. So as I mentioned, I grew up on a farm, and when I was a little girl, it was actually a dairy farm. And anyone who's ever lived on a dairy farm knows it's an amazing amount of work, because you absolutely have to be there every 12 hours no matter what. At least you did in the early 1960s when I'm talking about. And so this can used to be what the cream was put into, to take it to farm to sell it to the dairy. And I remember my great-grandmother would clean the cream can. She lived in a little old house on the farm. And so this can's gone with me everywhere I've moved to, including I lived in Vancouver for 6 years. Used to have another one, and unfortunately someone stole it from the back alley. I've always wondered where in Vancouver it is and what they did with it. And actually a year ago my son put the stencil Robinson Farms on it, so that people would always know where it came from. And he actually planted those sedums on top, and we even took it in over the winter, and the sedums survived. The secret being not to give them too much water. And then maybe I could show you my flower wall over here. Yeah. So anyone who's been to the Edmonton airport has seen that amazing plant wall, and this is my mini rendition of the same thing. I always think the way in the airport, even though it goes on 2 levels, you can see it in customs, then you can see it up again in departures. Whoever looks at it in customs, you're always so keen to get home and answer all those questions correctly. But every time I depart, I like to walk down and have a look at that wall. But this is a very miniature version of it.
Beautiful. It's amazing that they grow horizontal.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Joan, tell us where we are now.
So we're approaching the stairs to nowhere. So the story goes, there's a patch of grass here, and my husband Rob is allergic to grass, which is a convenient thing to be allergic to. So I have mainly cut the grass, although the kids did it on occasion. And this piece of grass is getting too steep for me. So I said he had to put something else here. So he's building these stairs, and there's going to be a surprise item at the top. And he hasn't told me yet what it is, and so I presume it's a shrine to me. Yes, I had actually asked for a slip and slide, but he thought there was too much gum from the spruce trees.
All right, let's take a look at those.
Mm-hmm.
These are the stairs to nowhere,
yes,
with some mysterious surprise at the top, or shrine to you.
Yes, but our daughter's getting married in this very yard on August 1st, so he doesn't have very long to make it at least look presentable.
August 1st, and this is Monday. Is that Saturday?
That's Saturday, yes.
Wow.
We just found out about this about 3 weeks ago. We would have been better organized.
Well, it's a good thing your garden's in shape.
That's
Are
right.
they getting married here?
Here, yes,
okay.
yes.
Let's take a look at your vegetable garden.
Yes. So I totally love the fresh vegetables from the garden, having grown up with those as a little girl. The problem is this is the darker side of the house, but we had the kids' swing set on the sunny side, and now we've ended up with the garden on the shady side.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what all are you growing out there?
So we grow potatoes, beets, Swiss chard, peas, tomatoes.
Okay, and you eat it all?
Oh yes, we eat it all, yes.
All right, super. So, Joan, how does gardening nourish you, if you will?
So I find it's a perfect time to just sit and think. I put on loud music, usually country and western, and hope the neighbors don't object. And it just gives you lots of time to think about life in general. As long as your pager doesn't go off, it really is a very good time to solve all your problems.
Okay, great. We appreciate you talking to us, and we will share this for a garden tour theme for the church, connecting it to Adam and Eve in the garden and the innocence of humanity. And somehow, I believe somehow our connection to the earth ties into that. I'm not sure. We'll think about that together. Thank you so much, Joan, for sharing your beautiful garden with us. Now I'm in the backyard of Tom and Sandy LaPointe, and Tom's out working with his grandson. Sandy's going to show us their garden. Why do you guys like to garden?
Well, I like to garden. I love gardening, mucking in the muck, and I think to plant a seed is to believe. I have a little sign that says that, and I can't find it. Jasper painted it for me last year, and I can't find it. But I usually have it on my garden patch, and I think to plant a seed is to believe, because they grow. Yeah, and I love flowers, and Tom does it for me.
Yeah, I'm much the same. I just like working outdoors and in the garden, and it's kind of satisfying when everything starts to grow, and disappointing when the hail comes.
Isn't that true? The storms of life. All right, so we will hang up for now and catch you in just a moment, folks. So does anything about gardening nourish your soul?
For sure, gardening nourishes the soul. It's wonderful, and it's just very peaceful, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's always amazing that such beautiful flowers grow from nothing, or what seems to be nothing
seed.
when you put it in. And that's always amazing.
Yeah. There's a message in that, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
So because of operator error, we are here the next day with Sandy, and she's going to take us on a tour of her garden.
Yes. Good morning. A lot of things are finished, but the petunias are all in the baskets. The iris have been beautiful. Some of the lilies are finished. The Japanese iris are finished, but the sweet peas are coming. And the petunias are just coming into be. The clematis is coming over here. I transplanted up my laetris down here. The daisies protecting the clematis root, that is finished. And the sunflowers are coming. And all the peonies are finished. There's one white one over here.
Do you know my grandmother had peonies her whole life?
Brander Gardens is known for peonies, apparently. The school, they were going to put a big... Oh, and there's Tom. He's home. They planted peonies because I think it was a Dr. Brander. He really had a lot. These were the red ones. And then nasturtiums, just the old-fashioned flowers, that's all. And we won't fall in the pool.
We won't fall in the pool. Okay. I've seen you all share your pool with many people.
And these were the bright red peonies, and there's just a couple of white ones left. And the beautiful pink ones, they're all finished too. But these are the white ones, and they're just finishing. And then we'll go. Our birdie bath is here, and all the iris here are finished. The lilac's all gone, of course, but the daylilies are coming. The orange daylilies up here are coming. And the iris are finished here, but we've got some dahlias coming. They're not in bloom yet. And the roses are coming nicely. We've got a really nice old Morden rose that are bred in, I think it's Manitoba, and they're not doing it anymore. And they're lovely roses. It's this pink one at the front on the other side. This little one, and it's bred to be like a tea rose, but it's hardy, so it's that one. These are just the wild ones, and then all the day lilies are coming, and then the regular lilies are coming out here. But they're they're coming, yeah. And then we go over to the veggie garden.
Come on in here, Tom. I missed the veggies yesterday. We're going to try it.
You can go into the garden again with her.
And I see you you picked up a straggler.
A nice straggler. Yeah. Sharon's
Hello,
here.
Sharon. Is she robbing your raspberry? Is she robbing your raspberry patch?
Oh, we have lots. They come every day. They come every day. Lots of them. And they're good.
Oh, and they're
We try.
juicy.
Yeah, they are nice. Yeah. We try and pick them every day. But they're lovely. Yeah. They're like a weed. They just keep growing. Yeah, they're lovely. Thanks, hon. Get one for yourself. Yeah. So, and then Tom, you go into the veggie garden again.
Do you?
Okay.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
See you later,
Here's-
Sharon. Keep eating those raspberries.
Only if no one's looking.
Only if no one's looking. We're all
There's
looking.
snow peas.
This is a big garden, Tom.
Well, it's not that big, but it's big enough. Yellow beans and green beans,
Lots of carrots.
carrots, beets, Swiss chard, rainbow Swiss chard, and backdrop of sunflowers. Potatoes were growing in bags. We just keep adding the soil to the bag and pulling the top up. Worked amazingly well. Tomatoes, not doing all that great. And then pole beans, and these are yellow pole beans. We've never had yellow pole beans before, but these are yellow, supposedly.
They're pretty tall.
And potatoes, just in the ground. And these are Peruvian purple potatoes, and I don't know if you can see, but the blossoms are blue, purplish blue. And the regular potatoes are just the white.
And what's that in the very back?
Rhubarb.
Rhubarb, of course.
And two plants are both the same. And these plants were here when we moved in 43 years ago. And they're still flourishing.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, Tom, thank you for sharing your garden with the folks of Riverbend United Church.
No, only too pleased. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
In the mall there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree, in cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the golden snow of winter there's a spring that waits to be unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. There's a song in every silence, singing word and melody. There's a dawn in every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery, unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. In our end is our beginning, in our time infinity. In our doubt there is believing, in our life eternity. In our death a resurrection, and the last of victory. Unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see.
Thank you so much to all the choir members, directed by Paula Roberts, and to Paula's husband, Jamie Kidd, for his sound engineering of our hymns. as well as to Carolyn Miller and Craig Miller for creating beautiful hymn slides for us each week. As we come to a time of prayer, we want to continue remembering those in our community and in our world who are marginalized, who are discriminated against. We also want to keep Terry Pickert, church member Terry Pickert, in our prayers. Her sister, Jenny, in Camrose, passed away this past week, so let's support Terry through this time. I invite you to lift up those in your life that you are bound with in a beautiful way, and join me in praying for our own spiritual lives, for each other, our community, and this world. Let's take a breath and pray together. O Holy One, you who are the source of each moment, even this moment, we open our hearts now to your grace and your love that always swirls. In these moments, we tune in to you, ask you to lead us. We remember those who are hurting, being alone, or receiving a new diagnosis, or losing a job, or going through a broken relationship. May we all be vessels of healing and light to those whose path feels dark right now. May we remember that your light shines in the dark and that no darkness can overcome it. May we rest in faith as we walk in your love each tiny step, each tiny moment, day by day, through the years of our lives. We remember that we are woven together as community of faith, that we are not alone, that you are with us, and we give you thanks. In the name of the risen Christ we pray. Amen. Again, thank you for choosing to worship with us this morning. I hope you have a good week. I hope you enjoyed that day of summer this past week. We are going to enjoy the music of Randy Nelson, not just piano, it's piano plus this week for our postlude. And I send us out with the words of the prophet Isaiah. May we go out in joy and be led forth in peace, and the mountains and the hills before us shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Go in peace upon this good earth. Amen.